Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Hieu Bui with HBI Home Solutions, and today I am going to talk to you about how to sell your house fast in Augusta, even if you owe too much on your mortgage. And as you can see, I'm wearing my UCLA swag today, but yeah. So in this video, I'll explain the concept, and also I'll walk you through an example of a house that we purchased recently from another seller who has very little equity on her house. So this will help sink in the concept with an actual example. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Alright, so first you need to understand when you sell your house in Augusta, how much do you owe on your mortgage, right? You need to understand what is the current balance of the mortgage because that needs to be paid off. And also you have to keep in mind that there's going to be other expenses associated with the sale of the home. Things like the typical things we see is repair costs and real estate agent commission and closing costs by the attorneys. Those three are the most common ones we see so far. Um, Also, if the house value is not high enough to cover all of the expenses, then you actually will be coming out of pocket negative just to be able to sell the house. For example, if you owe about 80 grand on the house and it's gonna cost you 20 grand to repair, another 10 grand in commissions, you need 110 grand total to sell the house. And if the house is only worth $105,000, then obviously you're not gonna be able to sell the house in that case because your sale price does not cover all of those costs. So most people, they do not want to lose money when they sell the house, or do they have the ability to even pay the money to close on to sell the house. So most of the time they just hold on to it for years, and it's gonna, quite frankly, stressful and frustrated to hold on to an asset that you do not want to keep, and it's gonna cost you like way more money just to be able to get rid of it. Um, so, like I said, most in that case, most regular home buyers and even investor cannot buy your house, right? They would probably have to offer you very little on it if you owe too much on your mortgage, and making it not worth your while to do it. However, at HBI Home Solution, we have just a solution for this situation. We have helped over 40 plus sellers in the past to help them sell the house in a tight situation where most people just walk away because they cannot do anything with. So let me explain how we are able to do it, and so the straight answer is we are able to buy houses when you owe too much. Um, is by allowing us to take over the existing mortgage that is on the property. And if we do it this way, we don't have to apply for a new loan to be able to buy your house. We can just keep the loan that you have already and just continue to make payment on it. And let me explain why we want to do it this way. First of all, you probably know when you first apply to purchase your home, it's gonna cost a lot of money to obtain a mortgage, right? So even for us investor, it's gonna be even more expensive to apply for a loan to buy a house than regular home buyers, because we as a professional buyer, we do not receive any subsidies from the government, the same way as the primary resident homeowner would receive when they go apply for a mortgage, because the government do subsidize heavily on the primary resident mortgage, right? So it's gonna cost us tens of thousands of dollars just to be able to obtain the loan to buy your house. Now you can see why this makes sense, right? So if we don't have to apply for a loan, we save on tens of thousands of dollars of costs. And ultimately, the reason why I want to tell you this is ultimately those saving is going to be passed on to you. So if we save money on those costs, we don't have to apply for those, and we can afford to pay you a higher price than most other investor or regular home buyers. And yeah, I mean, ultimately the saving just goes straight to you, and the process is fairly straightforward, but it does require resources to do it correctly. That's why 99% of the people like don't even know how to do it, but we do. So let me give you an example of a house that we buy recently using this method, and it's gonna all be clear. So let me minimize myself here, and yep, that's look good. Open my PowerPoint. So we recently purchased a house on Angela Street, Augusta 30907. That's a picture of the house right here, and the seller lives in Florida and out of state, right? But she needs some money from the house to be able to cover her personal situation that comes up. Um, so let's look over the numbers. So she owes $75,000 on her mortgage. The house needs a lot of repairs. The big repair is gonna be the foundation that's for some reason has been jacked up over the year, and as you look, it's probably not gonna be clear in this picture, but in real life the house actually sloped from left to right about 10 degrees across the house. So it's a huge foundation issue that's gonna cost $30,000 to fix, and on top of that you still have the regular remodeling costs that you have to pay if you want to be competitive on this market, things like paint, flooring, kitchen, bathrooms, extra things like that. So overall it's gonna cost her another $60,000 in repairs, and the agent commission and the closing costs typically run about 8% of the sale price. So in this case, it's gonna be $11,000. So the sale price after the house is being fixed up is $140,000. Now, if you pay attention so far, and if you add up the first three number here, so in order for her to sell a house, she had to pay off mortgage, pay the repairs, and pay the agent and closing costs. All of these combined are $146,000. Now, it's cost her more to sell than what the house gonna be sold for, right? So in this case, she would be losing $6,000 at closing, like just straight out of her bank account, net in the end, in order for her to sell this. As you can see, why she would not want to pursue this option, because not only do you sell your house, but you also have to pay more money to do it. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, an investor, if an investor buy it from her, typically what the investor do is they can cover your closing costs, and they do not use an agent on this transaction. So this $11,000 right here, she can probably save on it, right? So it's gonna save her $11,000, but it still doesn't make sense for an investor to buy it. Here's why. Even though the investor don't have to pay the $11,000, they still have to pay the mortgage, right, and pay for the repairs, and those two costs alone is gonna be $135,000. Now, if I were an investor in this shoe, there's no way I could spend $135,000 just to make $140,000. The profit margin is just too thin, and it doesn't make any sense to do it. And it really not gonna be even profit, because after the investor buy it and fix it up, when he comes to sell it to the next buyer, he still have to pay the real estate agent commission and closing costs associated with that sale. So any profit that he made between 135 and 140, so that's like roughly $5,000 profit, like that gonna be eat up entirely when he trying to sell it to the next buyer. So no experienced investor would even come near this property at this price, and apparently the seller know that as well, because she has talked to a couple of investors in town, and they all told her the same thing. They could not buy it at the price that would make sense. They would have to they can buy it as is, that she don't have to do any repairs, but they would have to pay her $65,000. That's what she said. And if you keep in mind, her mortgage is $75,000, so that price is not gonna even enough to pay off the mortgage. So investor all told her the same thing, and she walked away from them multiple times. But when we talk to her, we offer her a different path, a more creative solution for a unique situation like this. So what we do is we tell her that we are going to take over the mortgage, so the mortgage does not get paid off at closing. We still make payment on it. We don't have to apply for a new loan. We take over the mortgage, and also she transferred the ownership to us. So not only are we allow her to sell the house and walk away from all the hassle, we also offer her 10,000 off, $10,000 walk away at closing. So not only does she get to sell her house and keep that peace of mind, she also receive $10,000 at closing to help with her personal situation. So 3 weeks later, we close on the house, and we take over the mortgage payment. She deeds the house over to us, and we give her $10,000 at closing, and it was done. As simple as that. So you can see how powerful this can be for people in a tight situation where the only option is to either face foreclosure or hold on to a property that does really stress them out, or have to pay like a lot of money to walk away from a property. So yeah, guys, that's it. That's the video. And just a reminder, HBI Home Solution is a local real estate buyer in the Augusta market. We buy houses as is, and we pay cash for it. Sometimes we also offer creative finance situation for seller that are in a tight spot. And also, yeah, if you want to sell your house fast today, just give us a call, or better yet, submit a form at the bottom of the page. Link will be in the description if you watch it on YouTube. So yeah, feel free to reach out, and we love to talk to you and help you out whenever we can. Thank you so much, and have a good day.